Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for the trading week of September 23rd through September 27th. We're in part 2 of our weekly trading game plan. We'll be selecting our top swing trading stocks to watch, stocks in our bullpen, stocks in our shopping list. We'll also talk about how we can use dividend payers and several option strategies to also generate income while we wait for our top swing trading stocks to set up. So let's get started. Welcome, Gerald Fitz. Thank you for joining us in the chat today. Hope you're doing well. So here's our Google document with our notes for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for September 23rd through September 27th. We keep our notes for our weekly trading game plans in publicly accessible Google documents. Our Google document notes contain links to bonus videos, to the tools and resources we use to trade our top swing trading stocks to watch, etc. If you have not already seen part 1 of our weekly trading game plan for this week, titled Fallout from the First Big Rate Cut, we would highly recommend you also view part 1, as that contains our market analysis, trading strategies, trade ideas for this trading week. Again, you can find a direct link to this Google document in the description box below. We keep all of our weekly trading game plan notes, Google documents in a publicly accessible Google Drive folder, so you can refer back to the notes for part 1, as well as previous weekly trading game plans. And you can also find a direct link to this publicly accessible Google Drive folder in the description box below. Welcome to Ricky Khan, Katan, also known as Easy Mike. Thank you all for joining us in the chat today. Hope you all are doing well. So firstly, we'll quickly go over our trade updates for this week. Then we'll look at the charts for this trade in Webull. So we got stopped out of our latest long position in UROI. UROI is one of the uranium stocks that we like. We had entered into UROI again on the 3rd of September at 202. We got stopped out a little prematurely, just a little disappointed. We got stopped out on the 16th at 210.05. Got a small profit with an ROI of about 4.2%, which equates to a monthly ROI of about 9.7%. If some of our BeachBum traders got in after we had notified you of our entry in UROI and were able to stay in and not get stopped out yet, you could probably have made a significantly greater profit already in UROI. So congratulations again to all of our BeachBum traders who profited and or are profiting from this scalp swing trade on UROI. And as you can see, we're going to be watching for another opportunity to enter UROI on a pullback if we happen to get that. Just a quick reminder, although we never recommend anyone blindly follow us into or out of trades, it would help you make money trading, help you succeed in your trading career, to hear when we enter or exit trades. You can get a notification when we enter or exit trades by joining our Patreon. And post those to our Patreon members. You can get email notifications quickly by joining our Patreon. We also have several channels in our Discord that I'll show you in a second, available to our Patreon members with additional trade alerts, additional alerts to also help you make money, help you succeed in your trading career. So firstly, we have a Thinkorswim TOS alerts channel. I also set up price alerts in Thinkorswim. When those get triggered, they get automatically posted to the Thinkorswim TOS alerts channel, so we can see UDOW hit its 52-week high. That's the long, leverage long on the Dow. We can see SIRI hit its 52-week low. Again, we'll be talking about those in a little more detail. If I do follow up a TOS price alert with an actual trade, then I'll reply to that in the TOS alerts channel. It's a trade not directly related to a TOS alert, like when we got stopped out of our position in UROI, and I'll post that as a reply in the trade alerts channel. We also have a real-time alerts channel with alerts automatically generated from our automated system when stocks are moving up, breaking out near a support level, etc. You can hear how you can use our real-time automated alerts to get alerted when stocks are moving up, breaking out, etc. And they get automatically posted to the alerts channel in our Discord, which again our Patreon members can get access to, so we can see when PAL on Palladium was breaking out, etc. So again, a great way to also see sector rotations, changes in sentiment, reversals in the market. Again, great for short-term day traders, scalpers, for again, day traders. So we see when S-Dow was near its bottom 52-week low. So I hope that all helps. So if I quickly look at the chart for that UROI trade in Webull, so we can see we entered on the 3rd. So we entered right about there at that support level. As you can see, after we alerted our Patreon members that we had gone long on UROI, if you had been patient and waited a little bit, you could have got a better entry price. And then we got stopped out on that dip under that pivot point on the 16th. Again, if you were able to hold through that, and then URI went up and looks like it tested that resistance at 240, got slightly rejected. Looks like it's still trending up. So again, if you haven't got stopped out of URI yet, you're in more profit than we were. So again, congratulations to our BeachBum traders who are profiting or profited from that trade on UROI. Welcome Balu Dog, LinkedIn. Thank you all for joining us in the chat today. Okay, let me grab a quick drink and then we'll go through our watch list updates for our top swing trading stocks to watch list for this week. Okay, here's our updates to our top swing trading stocks to watch list for this week. I'll go through the updates and then we can also look at them in our watch list Google Sheet and then the charts in Webull. So Perry on networks we've been watching for a couple weeks. You can hear our previous quick take due diligence thesis on what we like about Perry via the bonus link to the video in the notes. See, it's been trading below cash. It's one of the reasons we're watching it. I know some of our BeachBum traders got into Perry already, may still be in there. Talked about UROI, so we're going to put UROI back on our watch list if we do get a pullback, sector rotation back out of uranium. Yesterday we talked about some of the reasons for the pop in uranium. Hopefully we'll have time and we'll look at some additional uranium stocks like CCJ, etc. UEC, Easy Mike's mentioned UEC, so again, hopefully we'll have time and we can look at a variety of uranium stocks. You can hear our previous discussion of some of the uranium stocks that we like to swing trade via the link to this video in our notes. The other one we've been watching is USOI. USOI is a nice monthly dividend payer on oil. We had seen oil break down at a new 52-week low. It did bounce back, as we saw yesterday. It's back up over 70 in the 71s. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get into USOI before it went ex-dividend on the 20th. Was watching for any excessive reaction on the ex-dividend date. Didn't really get it and couldn't justify the risk reward, but you can see it pays a very nice monthly dividend. So if you were able to get in when oil broke down around that 65 into USOI before the ex-dividend date, you can collect, a $2 plus monthly dividend. So we'll see if we get a dip back down in oil, back in that 65 range, below 70, and take USOI for the October dividend. So now you can also see our top swing trading stocks to watch, as well as our bullpen stocks, shopping list stocks, in our watch list Google Sheet. And you can get 24/7 access to our watch list Google Sheet by joining our Patreon. And we've got several videos on how you can use our watch list Google Sheet to watch our top swing trading stocks to watch. And you can access those videos via the links in the notes. So here's our top swing trading stocks to watch list in our watch list Google Sheet. So our Google Sheet contains support and resistance levels where you might want to buy and sell, risk reward profiles when the Google Finance functions are responding. It'll give you near real-time information on the pricing. Also quick links to their profiles in FinViz, earnings information, dividend information, optionality information, etc. So a lot of additional information on our watch list stocks in our watch list Google Sheet. So if we go over back to Webull and we look at our top swing trading stocks to watch list. Welcome, Gabe Fade. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you're doing well. So here's Peri on networks. Again, it's been trading right around 8, pretty flat for quite some period of time. So if we can get a little bit of a dip, I think I've got my price target down to 736. I believe was, yes, the most recent low. See, it kind of peaked out at 8. It's been trailing down, maybe stabilizing right around where it peaked out at 9, stabilizing at 8. So maybe 8 is the support level, but it looks like it is trending down somewhat. So if we get a dip in Peri, we might take that opportunity. Talked about UROI. So again, last time I've taken it several times right around 202. Which is that support level right around 2 tends to get support. We can see it dip down to 186. Previous low was 181. USOI, so again, the dividend payer on oil. We saw when crude, again, I use the WTI futures CL/CL in Thinkorswim to find the bottom in WTI crude. Use that as the entry point for USOI. So when WTI crude/CL made a new 52-week low, see USOI bottomed at 61.51, then it's run up. The little red is the ex-dividend on the 20th. Didn't really dip that far and then spiked back up at the end of the day. Again, we saw oil back up over 70 in the 71. So again, we'll see if we get a rollover in oil back under 70. Now we've got about a month before the next ex-dividend date on USOI. So I hope that all helps. Morning, Walter Lyons. Thank you for joining us in the chat today. Hope you're doing well. Okay, let me grab another quick drink and we'll go over our bullpen stocks. Welcome, Fairchild. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you're doing well. Just a quick reminder, if you're not already using Webull, they're still offering 75 free fractional shares of stock and a bonus 2% interest rate for a total of 7% interest on your idle cash for 30 days. If you deposit 25K or more, you get the 75 free fractional shares of stock with 7% interest rate. Under 25K, you get 20 free fractional shares and still the 7% interest rate. And a very nice interest rate, and it probably won't last, so get it while you can. And each of these fractional shares is worth $3,000 to $3,000. And if you'd use our affiliate link in the description box below, you can get all of your fractional shares, get all their other current promotions, as well as help support our BeachBum trading community, which we greatly appreciate. Again, we use Webull for our market analysis, trading strategies, due diligence, the majority of our trading, etc. Welcome, Sydney Osborne. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you're doing well. Quickly go over our Bullpen stock updates for this week. And if you happen to be new to our community, concept of the Bullpen stocks are ones that don't necessarily have the swing trading setup for our top swing trading stocks to watch right now, but I've identified that they may in the near future, so we put them in the bullpen, revisit them periodically. If their setup improves, then we put them in the game, move them up to our top swing trading stock to watch list. So right now in the bullpen, we added HIMX back, HIMX Technologies, a semiconductor stock, back to our bullpen recently. Again, we made a nice profit on a previous swing up in HIMX. You can hear our previous due diligence videos on HIMX Technologies via the links and the bonus link in our notes. And it is a small dividend payer as well. Again, negative sentiment cycling back down in semiconductors might give us an opportunity in HIMX. We'll see. Did pop up, I think, on Thursday when we had that rotation back into technology, into semiconductors after the first big rate cut. And then Friday, I think, slight correction. So yesterday we looked at SOXL as well. Saw the death cross, negative trend, so maybe that'll give us a chance to get back into HIMX. Sirius Networks we added back after they started trading as an independent company, merged with that division of Liberty Media. There was recent news. We talked last week about the fact that Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, was one of the biggest shareholders, and I saw some news that they reported holding, I think, over 30%, like 31% of SIRI. So we did see a pop up on that merger, and then it looks like there might have been a sell the news event. So we'll see if we can get an opportunity to get into SIRI again. Talked about that last week. I like the fact that Berkshire has a large holding. I don't think they'll be selling at a low anytime soon. Also, we've been watching Shutterstock, SSTK. Talked about, you can hear our thesis behind Shutterstock in the quick take video in our notes. So we can also see those, again, support and resistance levels, earnings date, dividend information, optionality, and the bullpen sheet in our watch list Google sheet. So it's much easier to watch these in real time during the trading day. And if they happen to come down to our support level buy price, we can jump on those trades quite easily through our watch list Google sheet. We look at our bullpen stocks in Webull. So again, nice in Webull. You can have multiple watch lists, quickly flip through them, quickly flip through the charts. So here's HIMX Technologies. Looks like it's just kind of oscillating around that support level around 537.8. So I zoom out a little bit and see the very low is 463. It's got a longer term support level at about 517 or so. So somewhere in that range, if that holds that support, maybe take it there. Otherwise, wait for a pullback. I've got a 480, I think, price target set, and 463 would be the low. So again, we saw that nice swing up, made a nice profit on that a while back, and then probably in this area. And then it's been kind of trailing off back down to support recently. Talked about SIRI, Sirius XM, when they started trading as a independent company. So we had that pop, and it trailed off, and recently it's been swinging back up a little bit. So the 52-week low after the sell the news was 22.73. So got support level showing about 22.50, and the pivot point, longer term pivot point at about 25.70. So we'll see. It's like it rejected off that pivot point on Friday. We'll see if it trails back down to that support level. See if we can get an entry in SIRI. Again, after that bottom, it did swing up pretty steadily. So Shutterstock, and it's kind of trailing down, made a bottom at 32.38 and popped back up a little bit. Looks like it's rolling over, rejected off of that resistance level at about 36.70. So it looks like it's coming back down. So we'll see where that finds support. If it double bottoms in this 32.30 type area, might be a good entry. That looks like a area where it's bottomed several times and then swung up and rolled over a couple times. Very quickly, our shopping list stocks. Again, we always recommend that you have your list of shopping list stocks for any kind of negative reaction to earnings in the markets, to this first big rate cut. Saw a lot of volatility on Wednesday and Thursday, some dampening on Friday. We'll see how the market has digested this first big rate cut and reacts on Monday. Again, even though we had a 50 basis point rate cut, rates are still relatively high. So they're going to be high for a while. We know from the SEP, the dot plot, they're going to bring rates down another about 50 points this year, but still relatively high. So your high debt companies may still be at risk of having to do offerings, raise cash, or insolvency. So we recommend you stay away from zombie stocks, zombie companies. Again, none of our content should be considered financial advice. We're not financial advisors. All of our content is for education and entertainment purposes only. But if you're concerned about any money-losing company, not just biotechs, but any money-losing company in terms of their solvency or risk of them making an offering soon, you can do a quarter's cash flow positive calculation using our biotech due diligence Google sheet, and you can get access to and make a copy of that by joining our Patreon. You can see the stocks we have in our shopping list in the shop list tab of our watch list Google sheet. So we have a number of yield maxes that we watch, some of the Mag 7s, Amazon, the yield max on Apple, yield max on Tesla. Watch Tesla for price changes. Some REITs we like, Stag, LTC, Land, etc. So steel MSB for rotations in steel. So again, you can see our shopping list stocks and our price targets for those as well in our watch list Google sheet. Gerald Pitts is asking about if Warren's still holding SIRI. As far as we know, again, they just had a SEC filing recently showing they had, I think it was a 31% holding. As far as we know, he's still holding that large position in SIRI. Again, I don't expect them to sell out at the currently relatively low price anytime soon. Okay, let me grab a drink and we'll look at dividend payers. If anyone in the chat has any particular dividend payer you'd like to take a look at, please throw those tickers up in the chat. We can quickly take a look at those. Again, we use our dividend payers Google sheet to identify dividend payers. We can create a schedule of income with whatever dividend payment schedule, whatever risk reward profile, whatever nominal yield, net yield, price appreciation that we would like, the categories we would like, again, using our dividend payers Google sheet. We have a whole series of videos on how you can use our dividend payers Google sheet to find the best dividend paying stocks, and again, create your own schedule of dividend payers using our dividend payer Google Sheet. Okay, just checking the chat, see if there's any particular dividend pairs you want to take a look at. Again, you can throw those up in the chat. I don't really have any additions, any changes this week. Last week, we talked about the change they made to the distribution schedule for the yield maxes. Again, you can see the yield maxes we look at, we watch at the top of the ad sheet. So I prefer like APLY, TSLY, etc. See, they are all pretty high right now with the pop-up in Mag 7 late last week. And we talked last week about their change and how they're doing their distribution for the yield maxes. So now you have to know what group your yield max stock is in, A, B, C, D, etc., which you can find the definitions of the groups below. So you need to know again what group your yield max is in. We can see the group A's. The next dividend date is October 2nd. So then weekly after that, so the 2nd, 9th, 16th, 23rd, and then back on the 30th. So it's actually 2 ex-dividend dates for Group A in October. So again, you can quickly access that yield max distribution schedule in the references sheet in our dividend payers. I think Gerald was asking about the dividend payment date on SIRI. We can quickly look at that. So here's the dividend information on SIRI. It looks like it last went ex-dividend on 8/9. See, it pays less than 5% and performed pretty negatively this year so far. So it's got some decent price appreciation. So again, less than 5% nominal yield. So again, we're looking at SIRI for more of a price appreciation than strictly the dividend. You see it pays quarterly, so the next dividend's probably in November. Talked about USOI, so you can see the nominal yield's very high, almost 19%. Again, it's performed relatively negatively. It's a monthly dividend, so $2.21 this month. Also see some of the IEF and IEI very popular, JEPI, JEPQ, so again, relatively high. So I didn't find a lot of other attractive dividend payers right now. REITs are also relatively high, although land's been coming down, so I've been keeping an eye on that. If it comes back down below 13 or so, we like land, we like LTC, O. So again, we saw that pop up in bond yields. So the REITs did retrace a little bit, but still again relatively high. Looking at NSA, O, etc. O did come down a little bit. So again, if anyone wants to look at any other dividend payers, Bellow Dog is mentioning YMAX and YMAG are now weekly on Wednesdays. So they have some weekly dividend payers. I think we covered YMAX recently as well. I may have that, the ad sheet. Yeah, here's a YMAX. So that's a weekly. Again, you can see more information in the distribution schedule, etc., on the YieldMax site. Yeah, again, I think we talked about YMAX pretty recently. Okay. In addition to dividend payers, we also use several option strategies to generate income while we wait for our swing trading stocks to set up. Easy Mike's also sharing there's a couple IWMY, QQQY. I think we also talked about those recently. So you can also find those QQQY, their dividend information in our ad sheet, IWMI, MY. So again, past couple weeks, we've gone over both of those as well. And again, you can see their dividend information also in the ad sheet, and track that in the ad sheet of our dividend payers. So again, if I go back to options, we use a couple option strategies to generate income. We sell covered calls against our stocks when they're going up, buy them back when they're coming down. We have a relatively new covered calls Google sheet that you can use to do what-if analysis on various covered call strategies. And you can access a video on how you can use that covered calls Google sheet via the bonus link to the video in our notes. And again, as a Patreon member, you can use our covered calls Google sheet to do what-if analysis on your covered call strategies. We also sell puts against stocks when they're going down, buy them back when they're going back up. And we use our puts ROIC Google sheet, which we'll briefly take a look at, to identify opportunities to sell puts against stocks. And again, you can get access, 24/7 access to our puts ROIC Google sheet by joining our Patreon. And we have a whole series of videos on how you can use our puts ROIC Google sheet to make money trading puts. You can access that series of videos, option strategies for beginners with examples, via the link to that series in our notes. Also on our channel, we have a whole playlist of additional videos on how you can use options to make additional money trading, and you can access all those videos via the options playlist on our channel. So again, I don't have any real changes this week to our puts ROIC Google sheet. Just watching this during the volatility after the first big rate cut. You see Disney is now back up over 90, so its puts are no longer terribly attractive. Last week we talked about we rolled the expiration to October. See Tesla came down a little bit, so that premium went up a little bit, still very low ROIC. Albemarle had popped up a little bit, so that ROIC is no longer terribly attractive. So potentially you may have made money selling and buying back puts on Albemarle when it was down recently. I still do have that sell out on puts on Intel at $17.50 at $2. We see Intel pop back up on their news. They're spinning off their foundry business, got a big investment from the government, etc. So that ROIC currently is below 5%, but again, we'll see if we get a correction. That 1750 is still the nearest one below 30 delta in Intel, but I was seeing if we wanted to move that up any. Also wanted to talk about Moderna a little bit. So Moderna's been coming down. You can see the ROIC on that put now is up over 5%. And at the 52-week high, it'd be 8%. So again, you can quickly see the charts to these stocks and the FinBiz profile and the comments column in our puts ROIC. So we see it had a big gap down on earnings, so disappointing earnings. Looks like it's near its 52-week low. 52-week low is 62, and that 65, the next lowest strike for October on those puts was 60. So, but the premium right now is pretty low. It's only 390. It's still over 5%. So if you think Moderna is going to bounce, that might be one. We're selling a put, for $3. That puts it down to its 52-week low to get exercise, and that might, if it's going to bounce back up, then you can buy that back. And the longer-term chart on Moderna looks pretty ugly. So I'm not overly eager to take that myself right now. But again, I think there may be a short-term opportunity if you think Moderna is going to bounce to sell that put and then buy it back on the bounce. So what do you all think? You think Moderna is a good one to sell and buy back puts on at this time? That's really the only other one that has an attractive ROIC. Again, we saw the VIX, even though it had popped up on that first big rate cut, very quickly retraced back down below 16 at one point. I think now it's back up around 16. We looked at the VIX term structure yesterday, so you can see how that might also affect the premiums on the implied volatility on some of these puts. So again, you can use our puts ROIC Google Sheet to also do short-term put trading. You can see when stocks are moving down, when they're bouncing back up, and sell puts when they're bouncing down quickly, and buy those puts back when they're rebounding. So again, I hope that all helps. Okay, let me grab a drink and we talk about uranium stocks. Katon, Easy Mike asked us to look at CCJ. Just a quick note, we did look at CCJ, I think, in the past month, and you can hear our previous analysis on CCJ. We had the bonus link into the video in our notes, but I want to look at CCJ and also the other uranium stocks in just a sec. Let me grab a drink and we'll look at and talk about uranium stocks. Okay, again, let's look at uranium stocks. We're talking about UROI. We've looked at CCJ in the past month or so, but let's look at uranium stocks in general. Let me show you kind of a trick in FinViz, how to find all the uranium stocks. If you go to the Groups tab in FinViz, go to Industries, we can see there's the uranium industry, but if it's not easily, you can always do a find. Find the industry of whatever commodity sector, etc., that you're looking for. And then if you click somewhere in that bar, it will show you all of the stocks in that industry. So we can see all the uranium stocks in FinViz. So here's CCJ. So again, we see that big gap up on the news that Constellation Energy is reopening one of the 3 Mile Island plants. Also, several other utilities are trying to reopen or expand existing nuclear power plants. So all the uranium stocks got a pop. CCJ got a nice gap up over its short-term moving average, still below the longer term moving average. Did break out of the most recent high. So again, if you happen to be in off that bounce off the lower trend line, nice profit. We'll see if that exuberance continues, although we might get a correction back down. Profit taking. We saw, it did a death cross back in mid-August and was trending down, bounced off that support level. See the other uranium stocks, well, one of the other ones we've traded in the past, DNN, gapped up. They did lose money in their last earnings, so I haven't been watching that one as closely. LEU, nice gap up into that resistance level above the longer term moving average. So, I kind of like the behavior in LEU. I tend to prefer it down in the 30s, but you see it bounced off that lower trend line as well. Several of the others, UEC, up above its short-term trend line. We talked about UROI, again, not quite as exuberant of a bounce. They did lose money in their last earnings, but again, I like the technical setup of UROI the best right now, as well as, they are generally profitable. UUU had a nice reaction, but again, they're generally money losing. It is above its short-term moving average. So again, you can pick the one that you like the best, from a technical standpoint, as well as fundamentals. Also wanted to show you another nice feature of FinViz is we can look at the valuations. So we can look at the PEs and compare the PEs of all the uranium stocks. You can see CCJ has a PE over 100, so very high PE. I know CCJ is, probably the most popular. It's one Kramer talks about, etc. But you can see that PE right now is very high. DNN has a little bit better. LEU actually has the best PE, so LEU has a PE of only 8. See the price changes, earnings estimates for this year, next year. So you see LEU's been very negative. Next year's kind of negative. CCJ next year much better. So maybe they're banking on the forward earnings. CCJ's forward earnings are only 35. LEU's 15. So UROI's current P is 35. So again, you can use all these tabs to look at the various components of all the stocks within a particular industry. See UU loses money. EU loses money. So again, I don't put UEC, Easy Mike mentioned that one. You see it's losing money, kind of a big expected earnings for next year, even this year. So kind of a growth stock, currently losing money. Forward P is kind of 60. So that would be a kind of a growth stock in the uranium segment. So again, you see the trading volume, etc. So I hope that all helps as a nice way to compare all the stocks within a particular industry and pick the one that has whatever setup that you prefer, whatever fundamentals that you prefer, etc. So if we just look in a little more detail about CCJ, welcome MD, thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. So again, we see that big gap up on Friday after the positive news on nuclear power. See the Constellation Energy, etc. See the PE, see the debt, not too high a debt. CCJ is optionable. Not a lot of discrepancy in the shares, not a lot of short interest. Performance this year has been positive. We can see it sitting between its short-term and longer-term moving averages. Zoom out a bit. Looks like it's testing that weekly 50-week moving average. So again, might get a rejection off of that moving average. That looks like a resistance point. So again, from a weekly standpoint, that might be resistance, might get some correction. If it does break out, it's got plenty of upside into the 60s, but again, it's, relatively high. Got some risk down to the, 30s, 20s. Although that 35 looks like pretty good support. And that 35 looks like pretty good support upside into the mid-60s or mid-50s. So not a whole lot of upside. Now if this sentiment continues and uranium continues to swing upward, it might be good for all those stocks. Again, I prefer the setup and the fundamentals of UROI and LEU right now. Less so DNN right now, but that's one we've probably swung in the past. So please, let us know. I know some people prefer CCJ due to its popularity, probably UEC due to its potential growth. So again, no matter what you're looking for in a particular stock, and hopefully this all helps you see ways that you can compare stocks in a particular industry. Pick the one that fits your trading style, fits your current desires the best. Okay, if anyone else in the chat has any other stocks or sectors, etc., that you want to look at, or any other topics about how to make money trading, about trading in general, like to discuss today, please put those back in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to try to go back and cover a couple ETFs we mentioned yesterday that we added to our ETFs Google Sheet. Again, if anybody has anything you want to discuss today, we can also do that. DC Mike's asking about Boyle. So Boyle is the leverage long on natural gas. So yesterday we looked at natural gas. It's broken above 240, trending upwards. So again, Boyle's the leverage long. However, a lot of people call that the widow maker. Again, it tends to be very volatile for short-term trading in general. But the trend right now is up. And again, in our ETFs Google Sheet, you can compare the risk-reward profiles, the performance of the various natural gas ETFs, UNG, UNL, Boyle, and the short is cold, KOLD. And again, you can get 24/7 access to our ETFs Google Sheet by joining our Patreon. So just very quickly, I wanted to talk about some that we added to our ETFs Google Sheet, and I didn't have time yesterday to talk about. So I'd like to take a quick look at these. And we added these to the research sheet of our ETFs Google Sheet. We've got found a leverage long and short on the airline industry. The short is Jet D. I found this because it popped up as a double bottom in FinViz on 920. So airlines been trending up. So this airlines 3x leverage short on airlines kind of bottomed recently. And then I found the matching long for Jet D, which is Jet U. And then also some others that the Max has to long and short the auto industry. So the short on the auto industry is car D, car down. The leverage long on the auto industry is car U. So we added all of those to our research tab. Now you can compare and see, the up and down of airline industry and also the car industry. See the risk reward profiles of the leverage long. So again, if you're looking to long or short either the airline industry or the auto industry, you can check out these Jet D, Jet U, Car U in the research tab in our Google Sheet. You just quickly look at the long version in PinBiz. So you can see it's been pretty high. So this is Jet U. So this is the leverage long on airlines. You see it's pretty choppy. So these ETFs have pretty small volume. They're relatively new. See their AUM is relatively small, so a little bit of a risk in trading these. Not optionable. Doesn't pay a dividend. So this is again Jet U, the long. Again, they've only been around since it looks like January, July of 23. So again, relatively new. You can see it's kind of in the middle right now. Again, it looks like, again, for shorter term trading, and if you think the airline industry is going to drop on news like Boeing news, etc., or pop up on some positive news, you can trade long the airline industry using Jet U or short using Jet D. So that'll just be the inverse. See what the holdings are. Let's look at the ETF database, look at the holdings. So you can get more information by clicking on the link in our research tab on any of these ETFs. So we don't have any, it's not currently available. So again, relatively new. It's an ETN, so it's not strictly an ETF. So it's based on the Prime Airlines Index. Companies that operate in the airline industry. So again, we don't have a lot of details about the composition of these ETNs, and it doesn't show that it pays a dividend. So again, I think these would only be good for short-term scalping, day trading, etc. If you think the airline industry is going up or down, you can jump over. We do have the JETS, which is a non-leveraged ETF on airlines in our main sheet. So you can watch the trend in the industry using the JETS ETF, and then if you want to trade that direction, again, you can see it's relatively high right now. So if you think it's going to drop, try Jet D. If it's going to pop, try Jet U. We also have Car D and Car U. So if you think the auto industry is going to go down or up, got these leverage long and shorts on the car industry. So you can see their risk reward profile. Again, pretty nice, over 2 risk reward profile. Airlines one has over 2 longer term. Car D has, if you think airlines are going down, risk reward profile on that might be attractive. So if we look at Car U, and pretty choppy. It looks like it's bouncing off that trend line, and pretty illiquid ETFs. Volumes very low, AUM 4 million. So again, there's some risk in these ETFs that with a low AUM, they might get discontinued. But again, I thought it was interesting ways to long or short for short-term traders, the airlines or car industry. So again, only been around since July of 23. Not optionable, no dividend. Expense, a little high, 1%. And the car ones are using the Prime Auto Industry Index. U.S. listed base companies, operations in the automotive industry, manufacturing, parts, retail, new and used. So again, please let me know if you ever used any of these for trading, Jet D, Jet U, Car U. What do you think of those ETFs for longing and shorting the airlines industry or auto industry? Again, very short-term scalping. These are leveraged ETFs, so they will suffer, typical leveraged ETF decay. So again, very much for short-term trading. And again, based on their liquidity and AUM, some risk there to holding them. So, and I hope that all helps. Love to hear your feedback on what you think of those and any other stocks or ETFs you would like us to do some research on in the future. Also, we'd love your feedback in the comments to any of our videos on what we can do to improve our weekly trading game plans, any of our videos, our tools, resources, community, etc. And what can we improve to add more value for all of our BeachBum traders. We hope you will like our content. Please smash the like button. Try to help us get the YouTube algorithm to show us some love and share our content with other traders around the world. Also, we greatly appreciate it, and we really need your help to directly share our content, repost our content on your social media, etc. Help us continue to try to grow the BeachBum trading community. Again, we've got a Discord free. Our Discord's free to join, with the exception of the few channels I've mentioned that are exclusive to our Patreon members. We have channels for different asset classes, different trading styles, all free to join. And we'd love you to actively participate, help each other out, make money trading, and again, continue to build our BeachBum trading community. So thank you again to everyone that participated in the chat today. Again, if you have any stocks, etc., you want us to take a look at in the future, you can put them in the comments to the videos, post it, and tag us in our Discord with BeachBum Trading, all lowercase, no other characters, numbers, etc. Anyone else is an imposter. And we will try to take a look at those in a future live stream or video. So again, thank you all for joining and for your participation. Thank you all for watching after the fact. And we hope this all helps, and good luck and have a great trading week.